Hope you guys are doing good. Today's live stream is going to be pretty informal. I hope you guys are having a great day. Today has been so rewarding and fulfilling for me. It's my coaching day. I was sharing a little bit about that on Instagram earlier today. So yeah, I'm super happy today. And so the purpose of this live stream video, or why I'm doing it tonight, is because, hey Diamond, hey Lakeisha, hey Zach, hey Nicole, hey Eliza. I'm doing this live stream today because if you guys follow me on Instagram, you saw my stories, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, you totally should. So much goodness happens over on the IG. But I was doing kind of some market research, kind of doing an audience survey, because I wanted to get an idea of, asking questions like, how long have you been following me? Where did you discover me? Why do you follow me? Because I was just kind of curious to know. My audience has been growing so much over, the past few months, let alone the past year, that I wanted to know. And at the end of that, I said, thank you for answering all of my questions. I'd love to answer some of your questions. So I just want to do a quick AMA, ask me anything, because you guys offered such great insight over on my stories, answering those questions and just kind of giving me more insight as to why you follow me, why you listen to my content, how you found me. I think one thing I do want to share some information with you guys that I thought was kind of interesting. And I'm not surprised by it, but it's just kind of affirming. Have y'all ever had the cookies from Qdoba before? The cookies from Qdoba taste so delicious. But I had asked the question of where did you find me? And it's so funny that most people over on Instagram, and if you're watching this on Facebook, I'd love to know where did you find me? How did you discover who I was? Where did you find me? Who told you about me? Most people found me because they heard me speaking somewhere. They heard me speaking on a stage. They heard me speaking on Facebook. They heard me speaking on somebody else's podcast. They heard me speaking somewhere. And Side Hustle Pro, you guys maybe heard me speak at Summit 21. Maybe you heard me speak on Facebook, whatever it is. Most people found me because they heard me speaking somewhere. And I just think that is so relevant, is when you think about yourself and maybe, okay, why am I not growing my business? Or why am I having a hard time finding clients? Or why am I having a hard time growing my audience? And my question for you is, how often are you speaking? How often are you creating conversation? How often are you sharing your message? How often are you, you know what I'm saying? The vast majority of my audience found me because I spoke somewhere. And for those of you guys who are saying, okay, well, I need to go get more podcasts. A lot of people found me on the Side Hustle Pro podcast. A lot of people found me at Summit 21. A lot of people found me on other people's platforms. And one thing I want to iterate to you is somebody might misinterpret that and be like, okay, well, I need to go pitch myself. And it's every one of those opportunities where I spoke on Side Hustle Pro or where I spoke at Summit 21, I did not pitch myself. I was creating my own content consistently on Facebook and on Instagram, constantly, consistently doing live stream videos. And because of my consistency with me speaking on my own platform, other platforms would reach out to me and say, hey, can you come speak on our stage? Hey, can I interview for my podcast? And pretty much every opportunity where you guys have found me, whether it was somebody's podcast or whether it was somebody's stage, those individuals, I didn't pitch. They invited me to come to their stage or to come to their podcast or be on their platform because they heard me speaking on my own. And Nicole has said, see, that this right here is why my answers were what they were out of the gate in my business. Yeah. I just think it's important for you guys, to self-evaluate, is how do I grow my audience? How do I get invited to be a guest on somebody's podcast? How do I get invited to speak on people's stages? And it's well, are you even speaking on your own stage? Are you speaking on your own platform? We all have access to our own platforms, whether, you have access to your Instagram account, you have access to a Facebook account, but how actively are you speaking on your own stage? And if you're not consistently delivering valuable messages and speaking on your own stage, why the heck is somebody going to want you to speak on theirs? And a lot of opportunities, like I said, I don't pitch myself. I probably need to, but I don't pitch myself. People will invite me because they see my content. So that's probably one of the biggest takeaways I noticed from that quick little Instagram story survey that I did, that I just thought was just really reaffirming. As like, Jay, you just need to keep speaking. If you keep showing up and delivering on your own platform, the right opportunities will come your way. And you'll be in front of the audiences that you need to be in front of. But it all starts with you showing up on your own platform and speaking consistently and having a cohesive message and becoming known for solving a specific problem. So when they do think of, okay, who are we going to interview? So Mimi Bold said, I just heard you this morning on the Influencer podcast. That was a dream come true. Julie Solomon is such an amazing human being. And like, I started my business 3 years ago, and like, she was killing it 3 years ago. And I was like, man, one day it would be surreal if I was on the Influencer podcast. And who would have known? 2.5 years later, I do an interview with her. And here we are, I'm on her podcast. But like that, a lot of the big platforms that you guys like maybe dream of or that you want to be on, like, they're not going to let you come on their stage unless they see that you're serious about the thing that you're doing and that you're serious about the expertise that you have. And you're a way for you to show that is, are you consistently educating people on it? Are you consistently providing value about that topic on your own platform? That's the thing that, like, what I'm noticing, that's the thing that really gets people paying attention to you. You producing good results and you producing results for your clients speaks volumes in an industry where, that's like just getting harder and harder and far and few in between. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought it might be insightful. And I think that does answer one of the questions that somebody had asked, but let me go through and answer some more questions. Tiffany asked the question of which mastermind or coaching programs have you invested in for your own growth, and what's my favorite one? It's hard to say what's my favorite one because everyone has definitely offered something different. I'd say one of the ones that has been most impactful for me in the past year is I'm in Caitlin Batcher's mastermind. It's called Altitude. And I think the reason why that's been impactful for me is, earlier stages when you're getting to like, and I talked about this the other day on another episode, but it's like when you're in your business, getting to 6 figures is really simple. Making your first 6 figures, making your first 150K really isn't hard to do. If you follow a process and you just focus, and if you're focused and disciplined, you can break through the 6-figure mark pretty easily. Most people don't break over 6 figures because most of the time they just won't focus and they don't execute consistently. Like, that's really all it is. If you have a process, figure out what your offer is. And if you just sell that same thing over and over again until you break through the 6-figure mark, it can happen pretty fast. But once you get to a point in your business where you're doing $250,000, $300,000 a year, and you're trying to go from multi 6 figures to 7, at least for this is where I'm struggling the most. It's not about what do I need to do, but it's more about who do I need to become. And being in masterminds that help me elevate my identity and help me elevate how I see myself and help me think differently are the things that are the most valuable. Because it's not necessarily about, okay, I'm in this mastermind because it's giving me content and it's giving me curriculum and it's packed with all this content. Actually, there's no content. It's quarterly retreats where we meet in person, and that's really where the value comes. And it's not more about what do I need to do, but this mastermind has really helped me learn about who it is that I need to become and how to facilitate that type of evolution. And I think like before I make the $1 million and before my income doubles or triples, I have to first readjust who I am as a being, what my core identity is. Like, I have to show up differently if I want to produce those type of results. So I would say that's been one that has been super impactful for me in the past. I think we're maybe like 9 months into the mastermind or 7 months. I don't even know how long we've been in it, but that's one that's been really impactful for me this year that I invested in, was Altitude. And the reason why I like it is because everybody in the room is at a similar point. You can't get in the program unless you're making at least $250 a year. So it's just, you're able to be surrounded by other people who are at the same mindset level as you, at the same point in business as you. and you're really able to start to evolve your thinking and like becoming a better version of yourself so you can actually do what's required and make decisions like the millionaire business owner. Like it's really helping more from a mindset perspective. So yeah, that's one I'd say has been super impactful for me. This one is from Nicole. And if this is helpful, guys, throw some hearts up on the screen, share the video, give me some engagement. One thing about live streams is this should be a two-way conversation, okay? Like we should be interacting with one another. So I love it when you guys engage and let me know what I'm saying. Is it landing? So this one's from Nicole. She said, when going live, what's the top 3 questions to ask myself before? Nicole, you're in services that sell. I think this is inside of services that sell. But, sorry, y'all, this cookie is so good. I'm going to let the suspense build for a second while I chew. I'm at work sneak listening. Well, thank you for sneak listening to me. I always appreciate that. But one of the first things that I ask myself before I go live, and that I really recommend for you to do too, is, oh my gosh, this cookie is so good. 1, how do I want somebody to feel after my message? What do I want somebody to do after my message? And those are really the 2 biggest things that I think about before I do a live stream is, how do I want them, I'd say, how do I want them to, it's maybe 3 things. So you asked a good question. How do I want them to feel? What do I want them to do? And what do I want them to believe? Those are 3 questions when you're coming up with your topics or thinking through, or when you're doing your live stream videos. That's really it. How do I want them to feel? What do I want them to do? What do I want them to believe? Because the best content, like really people talk about, you need to make valuable content. It needs to be high valuable. What does that mean? And Nicole, we talk about this a lot in services that sell, which you already have access to, but the most valuable content is not just tactical where it's like, okay, how do I do this? And you're like giving all these how-to tips away, but you're helping people think differently about their problem or about the solution that's available to them. It's more so thought reversal content. And you know, before I did this live stream today, this is a Ask Me Anything. I asked Jereshia. You know, I'm like, I want people to feel appreciated. All those individuals that were on my Instagram stories that responded to my poll and responded to my questions, I wanted to acknowledge you. So like I wanted people who interacted with me to feel grateful. That was the first thing that I thought through. I'm like, okay, I want these people to know that I appreciate them taking time, giving me their feedback, and that I appreciate them. So just like they took the time to answer my questions, I'm going to take the time to answer theirs. You know, I wanted people to feel grateful. What do I want them to believe? You know, I'm doing a ton of questions right now. So like, as far as believing, a lot of it is just, I want you to believe something different, like, and think different about your situation as it aligns with what your offer is. And then what do I want them to do? There should always be a call to action. Like one thing I was telling my students today in leverage is you are always selling. Every time you speak, you are selling. Either you're selling your product or you're selling you. People at the end of the day buy from who they know, like, and trust. And the only way for you to build the trust with your audience, the only way for you to build likability with your prospects, the only way for you to build, like, you have to allow somebody to get to know you. And the only way that you can do those 3 things is by having conversations, is by speaking, is by, you know, showing up on a platform on a consistent basis and engaging and building that relationship. And if you're not doing that, how can you build this know, like, and trust factor? Like, you're always selling. Either you're selling your service or you're selling yourself, in the sense of like building that relationship with your prospect. So those are 3 things that before going live, I would think through, what is the action that I want somebody to take? How do I want them to feel? And what do I want them to believe differently about whatever it is that I'm talking about, right? So that is what I would tell you on that one. Yeah. I'm glad you asked too. Like, I think it's a great question. And anytime if I answer a question, guys, and you find it valuable, just throw some hearts up on the screen. Give me a yes, girl. Just let me know it resonates. This one is from Candace Chapman, and she said, this is vague, but more tips on bigger launches. So I'm not a fan of big launches. I'm just not. This is why I teach what I call the lean launch. I'm not, a lot of the time I think people feel, and let me know if this resonates with you, do you feel as if you have to do this big launch in order for you to make a lot of money? Have any of you guys ever thought that or believed that you have to have this really big launch? Maybe you're doing live streams, you have a podcast going, there's emails going, you have multiple webinars, you got Facebook ads, you got pop-up Facebook groups, like you got all this stuff. Like, have you ever guys felt that like I have to do a big launch if I want to make big money? And what I've come to learn is like a lot of the time, the main people that you see that are super like, so I see a few of you guys saying like, yes, I felt that way. I want you guys to think about the people that you see doing big launches. How long have they been in business? How many people are on their team? How many times have they launched their product or service before doing said big launch? And when I think of big launches, I think of like the 7-8-figure business owners that we all know in our industry. They've been in business for like 7 to 10 years. They have typically employees on their team and multiple employees, like 3 to 5, at minimum, 3 to 5 employees. They've probably launched their product or their service more than 10 times. Yeah, somebody's like, I think of Marie Forleo. Marie Forleo's been in business for more than 10 years. She's been selling B-School for like 6 or 7 years. And it's just like, I think a lot of the time we choose to attach ourselves to these beliefs about these outcomes, and we are not evaluating where is that, like, we're not evaluating the full context of the situation, right? So it's like, you know, more tips on bigger launches. If you have not been in business selling the same service for 5+ years, I would not try to do a dumb big launch. I think you're setting yourself up for failure, and you're comparing your year 1 or your year 2 to somebody else's year 10. Like, you don't have, like, you know, it goes back to capacity. Do you have capacity to even produce a big launch? Probably not. Do you have capacity? Do you have capacity from a financial perspective to afford that big launch? Probably not. Do you have capacity from a team perspective to even execute that big launch? Probably not. Do you even have capacity to serve that many clients that you would be able to convert at that big of a launch? Probably not. So it's like, my thing is, don't do it, right? You're setting yourself up to fail before you even start. And then I know people may have the mindset where if I can't do a big launch, I'm not going to launch at all. That is self-sabotage. Reason being is now you have created a problem that wasn't even a problem, and you have diagnosed a solution that's a solution to a problem that really doesn't exist, just so you can avoid doing the thing that you're probably scared of, selling your service, having the conversation, converting the client. Like, there's probably a subconscious fear that's tapped in there of, I don't know if I can actually do this. So I'm going to say, if I can't do it big, then I can't do it at all. And like, it's not about it's not about how big it needs to be. It's just how effective can it be. And I'm really big in doing the lean launch, like launching lean in the beginning, because it's what you have capacity for. Like, you want to pick a launch plan that you can actually implement and see through all the way. And if your launch plan is too complicated or too convoluted or too far advanced beyond where you are, you're setting yourself up to not even succeed from the beginning, because it's hard to have a successful launch that you don't follow through, that you're not consistent on, that you can't fully implement. And if you can't fully implement it, like, choose a different launch plan. You know, you guys get what I'm saying? So I think your question makes a lot of sense. It's not vague. My tip for you would be do a lean launch. Like, focus on a launch strategy that aligns with what your capacity is, and focus on a launch strategy that you can actually fully implement. And quite honestly, like, I used to always in my business, like, I need to have 6-figure launches. And if I don't have a 6-figure launch, I'm a failure. And that's like really what I believed. And like, I held on to that identity and to that belief for a long time. But then I'm like, bruh, why are you so concerned about how big your launch is? Like, are your launches growing every time you launch? Yes. Are you making more money every time you launch? Yes. Have you doing it the lean way? Is that actually been like, you're able to launch and it not kill you? You're able to launch and not be burnt out after the launch is over. You're able to launch and still make, healthy 5 figures every time that you do it. Like, it doesn't have to be big. And it's just really thinking differently about what's available to you. And also just really thinking about, okay, what's required for this to be successful? And do I have the capacity and the resources to do that? And if the answer is no, like, choose a different launch strategy. So that was a great question. I'm seeing a lot of positive feedback on that one. Yeah, totally good point. Yeah, so it's just, like Monique said, you can't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10. And another thing is, like, this is why I really believe in launching lean in the beginning too, is because if you're making less than 6 figures a year right now, your offer is going to change probably another 3 times. So if you spend all the time and all the money, hey, Bentley, come here. Sorry, guys, I got to find my dog. What are you doing? Come here. He's been getting into trouble lately, so let me pull him back. But what was I saying? Oh, if you're like, one thing, if you're making less than 6 figures a year right now, or maybe right around that 6-figure mark, and you try to do a big launch, it's really hard to do it successfully and it doesn't make sense because your offer is going to change. So if you spend all this time and money building out these super complicated sales pages, hiring a copywriter, hiring a web developer to build the sales page, your offer is probably going to change the next 3 to 4 months because you're still refining and figuring things out. Like, you're still trying to nail down your offer in the beginning. So I'm really big on launch lean, make the money, so then you still can remain nimble and still be flexible to adapt and adjust as you need to, until you actually know that, like Marie Forleo with B School, she knows the offer. The offer hasn't changed. She knows how to position it. She knows how to sell it. She knows who the ideal client is. Like, that's why she does huge launches, is like the offer is 1,000% solid. So now she actually has capacity to focus on different sales amplifiers to be able to sell it. So does that make sense? But I thought that was a really great question. Amber said, not business related, but what's your favorite food? Guys, I love spaghetti. I'm a pasta like whore. I love pasta. Give me some spaghetti, some strozza Peretti. Like, I love pasta. So anything Italian, pasta, ravioli, lasagnas are cool, but like, I love some good spaghetti. And the other food that I love the most is Cold Stone birthday cake remix. Oh my gosh, that is my sweet spot. Cold Stone's birthday cake remix, mixed well, microwave it for 14 seconds. Those are my 2 favorite foods in the world. Those are my 2. Oh, I know Amber's like a chef and works in the restaurant space. And if you guys know any chefs or restaurants, she's a beast. She helps you build more profitable menus. But isn't that interesting? I think, isn't pasta like the cheapest food for restaurants to sell because it's so cheap to buy the food, but then they sell it for like $16 a plate? But yeah, I love me some pasta, girl. I mean, anything with some truffle oil in it, I'm done. Like, if there's a pasta that I love at a restaurant here that has this black truffle oil in the sauce, get it every single time. So I love truffle oil, truffle fries, truffle Brussels sprouts. Anything with truffle, I am here for all day, every day, any day of the week. I love spaghetti, and I love Cold Stone's birthday cake remix. Those are my absolute, I could eat that every day of the week. And fun fact about me, I'm consistent. My fiance complains about this, is because I will once I like what I like, I go and get the same thing over and over again. So like, I have my routine places. I like getting something off the kids menu at Qdoba. I like to go to the same places over and over and over again. And so anytime I'm hungry, he said, where do you want to go eat? I'm like, dude, I go to 5 different places and get these same things. So Don't ask me if you're trying to be adventurous tonight. Cause I be going to the same place, Olive Garden. I love their the Olive Garden dressing. And I get a bowl of spaghetti and my breadsticks, and that's it. Bentley, come here. Yeah, I gotta get my dog. Truffle salt on popcorn? Girl, I have never tried that. The sweater is so cute. Thank you, guys. I was trying something different. I've actually been really loving Rent the Runway, and I've been doing like Rent the Runway just for like everyday wear. But like, it's a sweater dress. So like, I'm like, look how cute this is. It has a little cut in the side. And then I'm just like such a fan of like the color, and it comes down like right above, right to my knees. But this is Rent the Runway. Thank you. I think it is so adorable. I was like, yes, this is what I'm wearing today. My DJ's like, where are you going? I'm like, nowhere. To the living room to have my coaching calls and to do my live stream. I'm not going anywhere. But thank you. And if you guys have questions on that are watching live, feel free to pop them in the chat too. Michaela, hey girl. She said, would you ever consider going international to do trainings and talks? Yes. I don't care if y'all are wherever y'all are, book me. I will come to you. I would absolutely go international to speak. And I know, Michaela, y'all roll deep. So Michaela's in Young Living. Is it Young Living? Yeah, Young Living. They sell the essential oils. And I spoke at one of their events, I think about a year ago now. I knew nothing about oils. I was so embarrassed when they asked me to speak. I'm like, so y'all have to help me understand what an essential oil is, because I'm Black. The oils I know are coconut oil and what goes in my hair and on my skin. I don't know nothing about nothing else. And I felt so embarrassed because I'm like about to go to a conference where they sell essential oils, and like, you know, they were just educating me on all the benefits of oils and what it can do and blase. But I thought that was hilarious. This one is from Janae. She said, start off business besides research. What other way would you get started? I'm guessing she's saying like, okay, she's maybe starting her business. What's another way to start your business just besides doing research? I think that like, I did a post about this earlier today. Sorry guys, I have to entertain my dog. He keeps coming over here with this toy. Do your animals do that? Or maybe your children? That they don't mess with you, they're leaving you alone, but the second you get on a phone call or the second you do a live stream, they want all the attention. Like my dog does that every single time I do a live stream or like the camera comes on. But what's another way to build your business besides just doing research? So I think this is where a lot of people actually get stuck when they're in the beginning stages of building their business. They get sucked into this rabbit hole of like feeling like they need to know everything before they start. The best way for you to start your business is to like start, like go sell. That's my number one recommendation for you is like go sell. Oh no, Instagram just shut off. Whoops, hold on, let me get Instagram back up. I have no idea what just happened. Instagram just completely shut off. Oh, well on Facebook we're still going, so that's good. It just shut down. Y'all on Instagram, I'm sorry, I have no idea what just happened. Let me pull up that question again. But yeah, my thing would be the best way to start when you are starting your business is to not get to, like, doing your research is important, and understanding like your industry, understanding your audience. Like there's a level of research that's important. But the best way for you to start is to go sell, because your business isn't viable until you know how to make money, right? I think a lot of the time people can misconstrue, I have an idea for my business versus I have an actual business. You can have an idea all day, but that doesn't mean you have a business. Just because you have an LLC doesn't mean you have a business. You know, you don't have a business until you've proven that there's a revenue model and that you actually know how to make money. Like you have to remember, does a business mean? A business means that I know how to facilitate a transaction. That's all business is you're creating opportunities for transactions to take place. So the first thing I would tell you to do besides doing research is, one, figure out what your offer is. What promise am I delivering? You know, using the POP method, pick one problem, pick one person, package one process, and then go sell it. Like, try to sell it. Because the business doesn't get real. And a lot of the things that you're trying to figure out or trying to gain clarity on, the clarity will come through the conversations. You know, that while you're selling, you'll get clarity. While you're working with your clients, you'll get clarity on, okay, this is how I actually need to restructure my process. Or as you start to work with clients, you'll realize, like, I don't want to work with these people anymore. I don't like that person. That's not a good ideal client for me. I need to adjust this. So I think that's really, besides doing research, a lot of your research will come through you having the experience, and you'll get the experience by, like, go launch and sell. I think people wait too long to start doing the thing that the business is meant to do, which is to sell the service. Create opportunities for transactions to take place, and a lot of the clarity will come through that, okay? Krista said, how do you feel about charging a pick my brain, AKA consultation fee? I'm tired. I've tried to avoid wasting my time figuring out a client's needs only to have them say they aren't ready to proceed. I design websites. So Krista, I struggle. Does anybody else struggle with this? With what her question is, like doing a pick my brain, a consultation, charging for consultations? One thing I'm really big on is, like, you should not be coaching on your sales calls, nor should you be offering strategic consulting advice on sales calls. And I think that's where where you're having a difficulty is, like, people are booking these discovery calls or these consult calls, and you go into the mindset on that sales call that I'm going to solve their problem in this 20-30 minute call, and that should not be the focus. So a discovery call, or like a consult call, the only goal is to figure out, okay, is this person a good fit for me, and am I a good fit for them, to be able to help them solve their problem. But the transformation takes place after the transaction, not before. So y'all, I think I have my first troll on my live stream, guys. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I'm pretty sure that might be a troll. And if it is, we have arrived. I've never had a troll on a live stream, but I'm pretty sure that comment was a troll comment. Y'all, this might be a moment. We might need to mark this down in history. But when it comes to that, when it comes to your sales conversations, like, that's all a sales call should be. You should not be offering transformative how-tos, this is what you should do, until after you have received a transaction to take place, after you've been paid. So Krista, I mean, maybe my question for you is, are these, you know, this whole pick my brain, what do I do? Like, is that happening on discovery calls when you guys, like, are in the initial phase of the sales process and you're trying to figure out whether or not they're a good fit? Because this is really where I'm a big believer too, and one of my core values that I teach inside of Services That Sell, that we stand by in our business, is that we need to approach business from serving over selling. And it's really a mindset shift. A lot of the time we're like, well, I can help this person, I'm gonna help them before they've paid, and that's me serving. And it's not really serving, because you're not really solving that person's problem in a 20-minute conversation. And you said that you designed websites. There's no way, for most of you guys, you are experts in your own right. There's no way that you can solve somebody's full problem in a 10-minute conversation. At best, you'll be able to put a Band-Aid on their bullet wound, but you're not able to actually do the real surgery and facilitate the full transformation on a 20-minute call. So you're really not serving them, you're actually enabling them. And if you coach too much on your sales calls, the reason why they choose not to proceed is because you've given them enough to satisfy their appetite, right? Like, think about it, if you're starving and you're like super hungry, hey, come back, Bentley, come here. So if you're super hungry, right? And, like, let's say you're starving, but then all I do is bring you 3 cupcakes, for example. When you eat those cupcakes, you're not really full, but you've satisfied your appetite. So, like, when dinner comes out, you're like, no, I'm good, I don't want to eat that. Even though you know that's really what it is that you need. So if you're on your sales calls and you are coaching them and I'm gonna I'm gonna coach them and solve their problem and answer all their questions when it comes to how to, it's no wonder they don't want to proceed with you, because you have satisfied their appetite. You've put a Band-Aid on their bullet wound. They're able to go a little bit longer, but in a week or in a month, they're going to be coming right back because you haven't really cured the cancer. You haven't cured the problem. You've maybe satisfied a symptom. So I think that's really a difference. And your sales calls, you really should be qualifying your leads through your content before they even get on a sales call. Your content should be qualifying your leads. So by the time that they do book a call with you, you're not having to convince them of your value. You're not having to convince them to pay you. You've already done a lot of that qualifying work before they even got on the call. And then once you get on the sales call, it is just, okay, is this a good fit for you? Am I a good fit for you? Are you a good fit for me? Can my program actually solve the problem that you have? If that's all a yes, then I can go through and we can facilitate this transaction. Guys, I have trolls on Facebook right now. Okay, can we just take a pause? I had these two gentlemen. She's selling a sofa. What is this about then? And this is like a white dude asking me, is that a weave you got on? What's the best way to sort my hair out? Can we just take a moment, y'all? I feel like I have arrived. I've been in business. I've been doing live stream videos for 5 years. I've been in business for 3 years. And this is the very first time I've ever had a troll on while I'm on my live stream. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge this. Lewis, William, I am so blessed that you are here today. Guys, I have arrived. Y'all. I have trolls on my live video. Oh my gosh, yes. Like, I knew today was gonna be a good day. I knew it. I did my little makeup, put a little concealer on. I got a cute sweater on. I put my little bun up, try to slick down these edges. I knew today was gonna be good. Yes. Woo. It's just, listen, until you got trolls, I don't think that's when you know you've made it. That's when you know you've made it. When you got trolls on your live stream, that's when you know you've made it. Okay? Yes. I have arrived. What is today? This is November 7th, 2019. A young thug has finally become an OG. Yeah, you guys are witnessing history right now, okay? It's not on Instagram, they're on Facebook. So I'm doing this on Facebook right now too, and there's 2 men that are like literally trolling in my comments and just saying the most obnoxious stuff. And that's just, guys, I just want you guys to know we've made it. We have made it. Young Thug has been inducted into the society. I am officially an OG. I have trolls. Woo, okay. I'm writing that down in my journal, okay? You know, my journal's like, okay, what are you grateful for today? I got my first trolls. I've never had a troll before. Okay. So yeah, Krista, that was a really great question about sales calls. Oh my gosh, there's even more. There are more trolls. I can't even handle it. And then 7, she asked, and am I pronouncing, let me know if you're pronouncing your name right. She said, is there a way to recover from coaching on sales calls? I did this recently and I believe I messed up the potential sale. I think one thing, somebody said evidence of more great things to come, y'all. This is a great year. This is a great day. But I think to recover on that is like, you need to learn how to control the sales conversation. And I think this is something that many people just haven't been taught yet. This maybe is a skill set that you maybe haven't learned yet. But you really want to look at a sales call really as a next step call. What's the next best step for this client? And my thing for you would be learn how to conduct sales calls. You know, and as far as recovering, it's not as, that's not a simple answer that I can necessarily give. Because it's not that simple. Oh, somebody said this, okay. But my thing for you would be, I'd really learn how to start controlling your sales conversation and how to have more structured sales conversations. But now when you go into your next sales call, just realize that like my goal isn't to solve this person's problem in a 19-minute call or a 37-minute call. Like my goal of this conversation is to get them to make a decision. That's all sales calls really should be doing, is getting somebody to make a decision and guiding them through, helping them make the next best decision for them, whether or not that's with you or whether or not they need to go with somebody else. Somebody said, I really love your perspective on trolls. Y'all, like that, don't ever worry about haters. Don't ever worry about trolls. Like trolls, the fact that I have trolls means that I have done enough on my live stream videos, and this is my perspective that I choose to hold true, where I don't even know how trolls come to be. I don't even know how they find you. But I know when I first started my business, I've literally never had trolls ever in life on anything. So I'm just really excited that I have trolls. Cause I just feel like that's like a, when I'm in my masterminds and I have friends that spend $30,000, $50,000 a month on ads, they always talk about their trolls. And I always feel kind of left out of the conversation, because I'm like, I've never really had anybody say anything negative on any of my live streams. I've never had anybody hate on my stuff. I've never had anybody, say obnoxious things in my comments. Like I don't have trolls. Like I feel so left out of the conversation. And now next time I go to my mastermind meeting, I'm going to let them know, your girl has arrived. I have trolls. That's a really, really great question. So I hope that helped there, guys. Somebody said trolls search for gems and you are a gem. I received that. Thank you, Chris. So this one is from Dominique, and she said, do you offer coaching packages to college students who can't afford your services? I don't do discounts. And the only person that I give do free for is the church. And that's just kind of a rule I have in my business. I don't do discounts. I don't do free, mainly because I understand the value of what it is that I deliver. And, I've had college students actually enroll in my program. I've had college students take services that sell. If you're, and if you can't afford to work with me in a coaching capacity, like I always say this, like you don't have to pay somebody for them to be your mentor, right? Like I put out so much free content through my podcast, through my Facebook Lives, on YouTube, like my free Facebook group. There's so much free content that you can start with to get coached. Like a lot of times people think that, oh, I need coaching. I need you to talk to me directly. And it's like, no, I don't need, like I can be your mentor without me ever knowing who you are, without me ever speaking to you directly. Like there's so much that you can learn from based off of the free content that I deliver, that you can literally be coached through my free content if you choose to implement it, if you choose to listen and apply what it is that I'm telling you. Most of my content is very actionable. And a lot of my content really isn't super fluffy or like, I don't know, like I think I produce pretty valuable, actionable based content. So if you listen to my content and actually apply what you hear me say, you don't need to hide, like, if you're in college and you can't afford me, or if you're not in college and you've grown and you can't afford me or whatever, that, use what you got to like do as much as you can with what you can get for free. But then my thing always is like, the reason why I don't do free anymore is because I've learned the hard way. And that, again, the transformation does not take place until after a transaction has occurred. And I don't know about you guys, but if you guys have ever offered your services for free or done coaching for free, what happens? That person that you're helping, they don't show up to the calls on time. They don't do the work. Like they don't actually do what it is that you're trying to help them do. You're more invested in their success than they're invested in themselves, right? And at the end of the day, it ends up being a complete waste of time for me, for you, for everybody involved. So I've just come to realize and know that like people pay for what they value. And if people say that they can't afford you, 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with money. It's just that maybe they're not committed to getting the results yet. Maybe, and if it is a money thing, I literally had somebody send me a screenshot yesterday. She literally created a digit saving account, and she has a savings account set up for services that sell. And she's like, I'm not ready, or I'm not there yet where I can pay for this, but I'm not going to go to Starbucks anymore. I'm going to use my Starbucks money to save for services that sell. And it's just like, whatever you value, you will find the money for. And it may mean that you have to change your habits. It may mean that you have to start allocating resources differently in your life or with your disposable income. But that's why I don't do free anymore. Like, I've done it. I've given away so much before. I've given away scholarships before for services that sell. And 9 times, there's a rare case where that person like does follow through, but more often than not, they don't, because they're not committed. They have no skin in the game. So when you think about anything you truly value, you have skin in the game in some way, shape, or form. And, so I just think that's more so than anything else. It has nothing to do with you being in college, but it just has something to do with what's your commitment level. And normally that happens after a transaction takes place. So that's kind of my thoughts on that one. Somebody said, do you recommend starting with a beta group course or one-on-one coaching? All day, every day, I'm going to tell you to start with one-on-one. Because, okay, this is from Miss Shelley Shell, I think. Do you recommend starting with a beta group course or one-on-one coaching? And the reason why I say one-on-one coaching is all a course is curriculum, right? When you have a group course or a digital course or a coaching program, you need to have curriculum. You need to have a process that you take clients through to get from where they are to where it is they want to be. And if you don't have a proven process, you don't have a course. All a course is a series of content structured in a specific way to get somebody from point A to point B, right? But if you don't have your curriculum down, and meaning that it's proven, not that you've just created it, but that it's gotten people results, I think it's 10 times harder to go try to build and sell a course. Versus if you sell one-on-one, you can co-create your curriculum and co-create your proven process with your one-on-one clients. Because when you're working one-on-one, there's a lot more flexibility. Meaning, like, let's say okay, I'm going to help somebody. I was just talking with Allison. Allison, I just saw you put hearts up on the screen. I'm going to use you as an example. So Allison is in services that sell. She's really good at content creation and social media content, and she's been struggling with narrowing her niche. And she's recently decided that she's going to do email, can't help like boutiques, product-based businesses in the beauty and the fashion space. So let's just say a boutique, a clothing boutique, help them with their launch campaigns from an email perspective. So maybe it's a brick and mortar business, but it's like, okay, they know how to get sales on the ground. They know how to get that client to buy one time, but how do we increase the lifetime value of a client? How do we get that client to buy more than once? And she's like, there's email launch campaigns that you can do to be able to get somebody, you got the lead one time, but how do we get them to buy again? And, for her, if she were to go try to build a course on that, like, she knows what to do, meaning like, if somebody were to come to her, she knows how to do the thing, but she doesn't have a proven process yet, meaning that it's been documented and she's taken 3, 4, 5 people through that process to be able to test, okay, does this process actually produce the results time and time again? And that's when I think people make courses prematurely, because if you've never done this one-on-one with a client, building a course, you can't keep customizing the relationship or customizing the delivery. There needs to be a proven, you need to look at, this is how I look at good courses. Like an assembly line, that if you put their input in, there's an assembly line, a chain of events that happens for there to produce the same output and the same outcome every time, no matter who goes through it. And in the beginning, you have to figure out, what is that process? What is my proven methodology? What's my proven framework to keep getting results? So using Allison as an example, it's like, okay, when she's doing a product launch, does she need to write one email? How long does she need to be creating emails for the campaign? What social media aspects need to be built in to actually get people on the email list? Like, she still might be she knows high level what needs to happen, but she still might be trying to figure out, okay, what's the actual recipe to get this result? And I think the best way to learn that when you're starting is to do that one-on-one, because one-on-one still gives you the freedom to be flexible, meaning that you can adapt things very easily, without it causing a havoc on our operational back end. Does that make sense? Like when you're working one-on-one, you're you're delivering a promise, but there's flexibility in how you get there. Versus when you build a course, you've already now created the route. It's a lot more challenging to change those modules and to then re-record or then rewrite a workbook or a worksheet, or it's way more work to have to course correct along the way if you're starting with a course and you haven't tested it one-on-one with clients yet. So I'm a big believer that in the beginning, I'd sell high ticket so you actually have the capacity and actually can make good money, right? You know, I think a lot of the time people do group courses and it's like, I'm gonna sell this for 97 bucks. And it's like, okay, how are we gonna hit your revenue goal off of a $97 product, also with the capacity that you have available, versus if you sell it one-on-one, sell it $2,000, $3,000 per client. Okay, you can really go all in on these few clients, and working with your clients will help co-create what your proven process is gonna be, what your framework is. And then I normally say this, and this is anybody in services that sell, is, okay, do this for maybe like 3 to 10 clients, where you're going through that process over and over again, refining that process. Okay, you know for a pretty good certainty here, okay, I can get people this result consistently. And once you can get the result consistently, then I would say leverage what you've built one-on-one, leverage that into a group program then, once you have at least some sort of idea on how good your process is, okay? Because once you've nailed down the process, you've now proven, and this is where the engineer in me kicks in. Because when we think about anything in a normal world, if you're building software or if you're creating a new product or anything, there are a series of iterations that have to happen before they'll put a product in the market. And I really believe that it's just way more work. And I think it's a lot harder when you're trying to do it in a group capacity and you don't have a proven process. And just because you can write the process doesn't mean that the process works and will get consistent results, right? Like it needs to be able to produce that multiple people got the same result, and test that. And the easiest way to test that, simplest way to test that, the most profitable way to test that in the beginning is one-on-one. Prove your process one-on-one, leverage your framework and turn it into a leverage program later. That was a great question. And was that helpful? I've seen a few of you guys this is so valuable and this is good info. So I'm glad this is helpful for you. That's how I look at it. And that's really what allowed me to grow my business the way that I have. In the beginning, I tried to do a bunch of group courses from the get-go, for $297, $380, $500. But it wasn't sustainable because I'm customizing all the time. And it's I don't know enough yet. I don't have enough data points and I don't have enough people getting the same result for this to make sense. And I don't have capacity to keep trying to sustain this either. It's way too much work. So when I doubled down on one-on-one, it's I was able to make, $15,000 off of one-on-one clients. And that's what helped me discover this is what I'm actually really good at. This is what I know that if I didn't get paid, if I only got paid for the result that I delivered, I could bank on this. I can bet on this. And I was really good at helping people niche down and get lean and figure out what their offer was going to be. And then I got really good at teaching people how to do sales. And that's how services at Sell came to be. So one-on-one first, prove your process, prove that it actually solves the problem that you wanted to solve. And then leverage that same service and just deliver it in a different container. So you deliver it one-on-one, refine that a few times, get good at sales, know how to actually sell your service, and then repackage that into a group program and ride that group program until you get beyond 6 figures. And then I would turn it into a course, but not before then. Yeah, you can't build the road, find the destination, and drive at the same time. That is so good. Bentley, come here. This dog think he's sneaky. I know you better than you, bruh. Come over here. Let me show you guys Bentley. This is my dog. Say hi, Bentley. Say hi to the people. He was on my vision board for 2-3 years before I got to actually get him. And I love him so much. So say hi, Bentley. Say hi to the people. Can they see you? Facebook can't see you. This is Bentley, guys. He's my favorite. Like I said, he was on my vision board for a few years before I got to actually get him. So he's a good pup when he wants to be. Sing, pray, shop said, aspiring stylist. I can totally see how this would help me as a stylist. Yeah, a stylist is a service. You're delivering a service. Should I be focused on one type of woman to style as opposed to being an equal opportunity stylist? My feedback to you is like, a lot of the time people are like, you don't want to niche down just based off of who your demographic is. And what I mean by that is a lot of time people are like, well, I'm an attorney and I want to be an attorney that helps women or helps Black women, and they think that that's niche enough. Or you want to be a stylist for women of color. Like, that's not specific enough. Like, instead of, you really want to focus on what problem am I solving? What is the promise I'm delivering? Saying that you help Black women, that's a demographic, that's not a niche. Or saying that you help women is a demographic, that is not a niche. And if you don't want to work with men, like, you can say that too. Like, maybe you specialize in, helping women, get styled for their speaking engagements. And like, that's fine too, because you have an aesthetic. Like, I think when you guys are working in these design, like if you're a designer, a graphic designer, a web developer, there's an aesthetic to your style. Like, maybe, there's different stylists that, just, I don't know, there's like even interior designers. Some interior designers are really good with like, Italian design or with French design or with whatever. But saying Black women or women, that's a demographic, that is not a niche. I'd get more clear on like, where is this woman going? What am I styling her for? Why does she care to get styled for this type of event versus not? At what area in her life is she ready to actually invest in a stylist? Those are things that I think more about like the tangible aspect than I would about the woman in that sense. And part of the reason why I say that is I used to always say that, I want to help Black women make more money, or I want to help people of color make more money. And I always worried like, that means men won't buy my programs, or am I being sexist by saying that? And the thing that I realized is like, I'm a Black woman myself. And just by me being me and showing up, I will naturally attract more women than I'll attract men. Partly because it's part of my brand, like it's part of my values. And when you communicate your value, people will flock to you who also believe in those values. So when I communicate about the core value that I have is I want to see more people of color becoming rich. Whether you Black, brown, blue, purple, or whether you're a woman, like white men have been winning for too long. Like, and more of us deserve to know how to articulate our values so we can have a seat at the table, and that we can also be in that 1%. So that's the belief and like the value and like my mission behind why I do what I do. I want to help more people get into the 1%. I want to help you become rich, because you can't build wealth until you actually have liquidity and actually have money. And normally that doesn't happen until you become rich. So that's what I care about. But I don't need to put on my services that sales page or in a sales call. I don't need to qualify my client saying, hey, are you a Black woman? Check, you qualify. Like, I don't need to do that, I don't need to say, are you a millennial? Check, you qualify. No, like, I'll naturally attract people who believe in the same vision that I have because I share the vision. But that's not what I narrow my niche based on. I narrow my niche based off the promise I deliver. Does that make sense? And when you're narrowing your niche based off of who the person is, saying a Black woman, age 25 to 60, who makes those are demographics. I wouldn't say that that's a niche 9 times out of 10. Does that make sense? She said, I've been stuck because I blog about style and faith. As a worship leader, I've been trying to find a way to marry the two. Like, you don't have to marry the two. Like, I talk about God all the time. I talk about my faith all the time. Just infuse that into your delivery. Like, just infuse that into how you communicate with your audience, and like other faith believers will find you. Like, if you talking about God and somebody's like anti-God or like serves the devil, they probably will just not follow you. But I used to always say I want to help faith-based women that are like Black females or brown females. You don't have to say that, because like when you show up and when you talk about your values and you share who you are, and people will naturally be attracted to that if they also believe that. So that's not your niche. That's just part of your identity, and that's part of your core values, and that's part of what you'll share when you show up. But you need to niche down who are like styling from more of a promise, result, tangible based perspective than the other way. Does that make sense? But I mean, I talk about God all the time. I'm quick to make a Jay-Z reference and tie it into a Bible verse. I'm quick to do it. Because that's who I am. Like I can't not talk about God when I do my business, but that's not your niche. Yeah, I see another fitness instructor said, like, if help men too, I struggle with saying I help women. Women is a demographic, guys, and like that's not narrow enough. Yeah, what problem are you solving with styling? Exactly, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. It's and even with fitness, like, I help women with their fitness. Well, then get specific. Are you helping women, like postnatal care, like they just gave birth? Like that is a specific type of woman. Like if you're gonna choose to niche down based on a different demographic, it needs to be crazy particular. You just saying I help Black women with fitness, that's the most vague thing ever. Like you're speaking to 60% of literally the population in the world. It needs to be much more specific in regards to the specific result that you're solving. And going back to that process that we were talking about earlier, if you're having to customize a delivery based off of every client, you're not niche enough. Is it, helping them with booty workouts? Is it helping them lose weight because they have diabetes? What's the specific problem you're solving that you'll be able to produce consistent results for? Yeah, you're helping new moms to snap back. Like, are you helping the mom lose baby fat even though her baby 5 years old? Like, get more specific. If you're gonna niche down based off of, I want to help women, help what kind of women? And don't just say Black women, because all Black women ain't the same. Like we ain't all got the same problem. So you want to get much more specific about, again, the POP method. Pick one problem, pick one person, package one process. Okay, good. Hey, AB was good. Y'all, we went to college together. Hello, a decade later. If I'm a digital content creator, I'm creating videos for social needs. For social, is that niche enough, or do I need to pick certain types of companies or services? Yeah, like if you're just saying, this is kind of going back to Allison. Before she was like, I just do social media marketing. Okay, but like what for? Is it, if you're creating digital content creator, like I would niche down, like, are you helping with product launches? Are you helping brick and mortars? Are you helping online coaches? I would get way more specific, because part of it, guys, and this is something I told my services at Stealth students today, is do not confuse your process with the promise. Do not confuse your process with the promise. Even though your process may be able to work for a ton of different people, the promise that you deliver is the thing that you're selling on. So your promise that you're delivering needs to be able to be positioned super specifically in your industry. There's a difference between serving what you do and selling what you serve, right? So you have to make sure that you're not muddling the two waters, in the sense that, like, why do social media marketing? I can do this for anybody. And it's like, okay, it's really hard to sell to everybody though. Like you can't do that. Or you can, but I just think it'll be a lot harder to do it successfully and to do it consistently. So you want to niche down and narrow that niche down where you're speaking to a very specific person and that you are promising a very specific result. And it may seem simple or small to you, but that's something that you can, bank on. Like, going back to Allison's example, she's like, she wants to do product launches for boutiques. Okay, that's a tangible result. Did we, when a new product launch comes in, did we successfully deliver on the email campaigns to launch that? Like, did we increase her repeat client business through the campaign launch that she did? Yes or no? Versus if Allison was like, well, I just create social media content and do all of your emails for anybody, regardless of what it is. Like, there's no way to measure the success of it. There's no way to measure, did this promise actually get delivered? The promise for services that sell is that you'll be able to package a high ticket offer and you'll know how to sell it in a lean launch way. I can measure whether or not that was successful. Do you have a high ticket offer that's well positioned? Yes or no? Are you able to convert a 4-figure client? Yes or no? Like, it's very measurable. There's a very specific end goal in mind. Even though your process may include a lot or may work for a lot of people, you don't want to try to sell that way. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Tracy said, I'm working through the fear of not actually delivering a stellar result. I know this goes to being crystal clear on your offer, but with services, sometimes I don't feel like I have covered all the bases. And Tracy, I have to get some more context on what you mean about like feeling like whether or not you deliver a stellar result. I think sometimes we undervalue what we're really good at, because what's simple to us is somebody else's struggle. And it's like, oh, this is super easy for me to do. It must not be valuable, but just because it's easy to you, that's just because it's your zone of genius. It's not easy to somebody else. And when it comes to delivering a stellar result, like you mentioned, it does come from being clear on what does success look like? How do we know we've achieved it? And a lot of the time it should be super simple. It should be very like the more simple it is and the more clear it is, the better you'll be able to say like, oh my gosh, this person delivered. Like, because it should be simple, like it should be clear, it should be tangible. Those are the simplest things to sell, and with services, sometimes you can feel like you've covered, you have to cover all the bases. And this is something we talked about too in our coaching call today. It is your client has 99 problems. Your job is to solve one of them, not all of them, one of them. People are like, well, Jay, with services that sell, it's like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to sell high ticket, but it's like, I'm not going to also teach you how to build a website and build a landing page and create opt-in offers and create your logo. I'm not going to teach you there's all these other things that a business owner might need. That's not my responsibility to teach them that. Again, think about an assembly line, right? Like, you should be solving one specific problem for one specific person. There should be one journey process to get the results. And now using an airline as a reference on my coaching call today too, it's like when you go to the airport, they're not like, oh, do we need to give you luggage? Oh, do we need to give you clothes for your trip? Oh, do we need to give you all of your toiletries from where you arrived at your destination? No, their only job is to get you on a plane and get you from where you started to where it is that you want to go. It is not their job to plan your trip, to find you lodging, to book your driver, to help you pack your clothes. Like, it is not their responsibility to do all the things. They just have one role: get me there safe, on a plane, pick me up, drop me off. That is my only job. So just remember, I think we have to know how to enforce better boundaries and realize that the value comes from being able to deliver the result. The value does not come from trying to be everything and do everything for everybody. That's not the goal. And typically the only people who try to do everything for everybody end up being the cheapest ones. Think about Walmart. They do everything. They're cheap. Versus Louis Vuitton. They don't do everything. They're expensive. Even Target's still on the low end side. It's a higher caliber experience than Walmart, but they offer a lot. Let's think about Kmart. Let's do Kmart for an example. Cheap. That's why most of the Kmarts in the country are out of business. Versus Neiman Marcus. They don't cater to everybody. They're expensive. So it's just your job is not to do all the things. Your clients have 99 problems. Your job is to solve one of them, not all of them. Yeah, and this is, Tracy said, I've had trouble in the past with delivering a service, but the client was expecting more because I did not articulate. It is your responsibility to articulate what success looks like. It is your responsibility to articulate expectations. And this is really where the issue comes in. If you don't, it's like, oh yeah, I can help you with that. There's no, everybody's going to have different expectations and everybody's going to feel differently about whether or not your services were beneficial. It's because you have no container. There's no boundaries. You didn't, what you're saying is 1,000% right. If it's yeah, I'll help you launch your business. What does that mean? That'll mean something completely different to me than it will mean to the next person. Like if you're like, oh, I'll help you launch your business, to one person, that might mean she's going to help me build my offer. She's going to help me sell. She's going to help me build my website. Like that can mean a million different things to different people. That's why it's your responsibility to like niche down even more than that, right? Get even more specific. So it is clear across the board that this is the result that we're delivering. And when you can get that clear, that's also when you can command and demand high ticket prices, right? So that's I think that was a really great dialogue. Tracy, I'm glad that you shared that. Callie said a bit off topic here, but how long do you spend building your business plan? I feel like I'm getting analysis paralysis. I don't have an official business plan. I don't. My biggest thing is pick a business model, high ticket services, small audience, or am I going to go low ticket, high volume? My business plan is, okay, the only time I like spend time trying to develop a business plan is when I'm trying to reevaluate how I'm selling, or if it's time for me to pivot an offer. But for most of you guys, the only thing when it comes to your business plan that you need to know right now is like, pick a business model that you want to commit to. Are you going to go high volume, low ticket, or are you going to go low ticket, high volume? Second part of your business model, what promise am I delivering? What is my offer? Like, what's the actual thing I'm going to sell within this business model? Third step of my business plan, go sell it. Like, one thing about many of you guys who are watching this right now, and we're not a traditional business. Like, the only time you need a real business plan is if you're trying to go get funding from a bank or funding from an investor. And none of us need funding. None of us need to go get a loan from the bank. None of us need to go prove our business model to an investor so they'll give us capital. And that's typically traditionally what business models were really for, is because those types of businesses had a business model where they needed capital investment. And then the only way to get somebody to give you capital investment is if you have a clear business plan showing how you're going to use their money. You don't need to create a traditional business plan when you're not going out and getting capital investment. The only plan you need to focus on is how am I going to make money. Business model, clarify your offer, go sell. That's it. That's the business plan. 3 steps, 1 piece of paper. Now, the decisions to clarify that can be difficult, but you don't need to do a traditional business plan if you're not going down the traditional business route. Yeah, Sierra's like, no funding needed. You don't need any funding to be a coach or to be a freelancer or to do, done with you, done for you services. There's no funding. You just need to pick a model. Am I going to go high ticket, low volume, meaning I sell a high ticket and I only need to get a few clients? Or am I going to go low ticket, high volume, meaning I'm going to sell $97, $297, $300 things, but I need to sell it to a lot of people for it to make sense? What's the problem? What's the promise that I am delivering? Like, people saying I'm a coach, that's not an offer. You being a coach, you being an accountant, you being a social media content creator, that is your profession. That is not the offer. The offer is, what promise am I delivering? You got to nail that. Then you got to know, how do I sell it? How do I have a sales conversation? How do I actually convert a client? That's all you need to know. Business plan done. No spreadsheets. No P&L statements. No forecasting projections. That's all you need to know. So yeah, good question. But my computer's about to die, so I'm gonna hop off. I think I answered most of the questions that you guys had asked, if not all of them. I'm gonna answer this one, then I'm gonna go. Coy said, as a web developer, I struggle not helping clients with other things so that my work looks good. They don't have branding. Then they're not qualified to work with you yet. I find myself creating logos and color palettes because who's hiring you to get, they don't have copy, they don't have that means they're not qualified to work with you yet. And this is something that we're talking about today. Allison, your example on the coaching call today is being so relevant today, right now on this live stream. Coy, those people are not qualified to work with you yet. Because if they don't have those things, like if you're a web designer and your person doesn't have copy, you can't design the website. You can design the website, but they need to have copy, they need to have branding, they need to have a logo, they need to have photography done, they need to have those elements. And if they don't have those things, they're not qualified to work with you. The audience that you're probably trying to serve right now is not qualified to buy your services. And it is not your responsibility to then go write their copy or teach them how to write their copy or to write their about bio or to set up the color palettes or to go do their photo shoot. That is not your responsibility. Those are qualifiers to say, hey, I cannot start doing my work until you deliver these things. Have you hired a copywriter yet for your website? No? Well, then you're not qualified to work with me yet. You need to go do that. Or do you actually have branding? Do you know your color scheme? Do you have a logo done? Do you have these things completed yet? No, but then you're not ready to have a web designer. So that might mean that in your audience, there's education that needs to take place to help them understand where they're at in their journey, to also help them to qualify them through your free content before you even get on a sales call. Those people are not qualified to work with you yet. So either you need to evolve the audience that you're trying to serve and speak to an audience that already has those things in place and get clear on who that target audience would be, or do more education to the current audience you have. So by the time they get on a sales call, you've already educated them on these are all the things that you need to have. Don't come to me before then. And this is why you can't come to me before then. But it is not your responsibility to go fix their lives and gather them so you can do your web design. Because your role is to be the web designer, not the copywriter, not the photographer, not the branding expert, not the graphic designer, but to do their website. So we'll leave on that note, I think. I think that was a really good comment that you made, Koi. And I think that's a lot of us struggle with that, you know, especially in the beginning. You're trying to figure it out. They're not qualified yet. So my computer's literally on 1%. I'm going to hop off now. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys for engaging with me. I hope this Ask Me Anything, Ask Jereshia was good. I'll talk to y'all later.